Yeah, right guys, this is Game Boy Luke here, and welcome back to another tutorial, or it's kind of like a follow-up to the previous tutorial. A lot of people have been commenting and basically saying that they can't get their Pokemon through the Pokemon Bank check system, and to be honest with you, I've been having the same problem. I've been sat here for 3 hours with ShadyPenguinn in a Skype call trying to figure out what the issue is with creating custom Pokemon and why they won't go through. And eventually, me and him found a solution. Right here, you can see two files. I've basically created two templates that you can use to create Pokemon with. Because Pokemon Bank's check system, or I like to call it the check system, it's basically when you go to Transporter and the transporter decides whether or not your Pokemon are legit or not, and if they aren't, they don't get transferred through. And basically, I've created these two Pokemon files that you can use to open up in Pokemon Gen, or PokeGen rather, to create your Pokemon. I've done all the hard stuff for you, basically, and all you've got to do is choose the Pokemon, its IVs, the EVs, and the set, and the ability and stuff like that, and you can send it off. All the other stuff should be okay. If you do input incorrect moves, the incorrect amount of EVs, then your Pokemon won't go through. But I'm guessing that most of you know the gist of that anyway. So I'm going to assume you've watched the first video and you know how to transfer Pokemon over through the PokeGTS.us. I'm actually using a different website in this video because when I tried to access PokeGTS this morning, it crashed. So I am using a different website. I'll provide a link for this website in the description below if you'd like to use this one instead. But please go watch the first video if you haven't seen it already. It is very important that you do so because I'm not going to be repeating, well, I may repeat half of the stuff, but I'm not going to be repeating all of the important information in that previous video. So, okay, so I'm just going to come to PokeGen here, and basically what we found is that 4th gen Pokemon can be created successfully, and they can be processed through Poke Transfer with this template. So as you can see, I have an Espeon set up with Magic Bounce. I have a Dream World ability with the origin of as Platinum. But it still went through, so I'm guessing that Dream World abilities do work even if the origin is Platinum, so, you know, disregard that, that's fine. So if you wanted to create, say for example, we're going to do a Scizor. So I'm just going to type Scizor right here. So you're going to select your Pokemon, so we're going to choose Scizor. And then in the nicknames, well, leave this checked and just name it Scizor. Basically, you can probably nickname it. I'm not too sure if nicknames are processed through. I mean, I've had a few Pokemon that do, but half the time the names are just stripped down anyway. So if you're hoping to get nickname Pokemon through, then I'm thinking you're kind of out of luck. But the next step you want to do is completely wipe this PID. You want to get rid of that, and then this allows you to edit the whole thing. The PID it's really kind of advanced. We weren't able to crack it so much, but apparently PokeGen creates a Pokemon ID anyway. So just ignore that. Just wipe that clean. Make sure you got level 100 or whatever level you want it to be. Choose your nature. I'm just gonna go with adamant. This is just a random set. The item doesn't get transferred anyway, but if you'd like to choose one anyway or whatever, just choose one. I'm just gonna leave it as none for now. And then go to your ability, and I'm just gonna choose Technician. The origin is Platinum. Leave this untouched. This is perfectly fine. This will allow your Pokemon to be transferred through. We're going to go to stats, leave the IVs as you want. If you want to change up Hidden Power, then go ahead, but right now I'm just going to set the EVs up right here. I'm just going to set it max HP, max attack, 4 in defense, and as you can see, as long as your EV total is below 510, you should be okay. And then we're going to go to attacks. I'm just going to choose some attacks, so we're going to go Bullet Punch, let's go for Bug Bite, let's go for Swords Dance, and then let's think, what else can we have on a Scizor? My mind's gone blank. What do you run on a Scizor for a 4th move? Rather U-turn. Let's go with U-turn. So we got Bullet Punch, Bug Bite, Swords Out. This is a random set, as I said. You can come to the OT and then change your name. If you change these IDs, I'm not 100% sure that your Pokemon will go through. So be careful with changing these values. You can change the OT. Go ahead and do that. I'm pretty sure that works as well because I changed it. And then you've got your Pokemon here. So once you've done that, you're going to hit save Pokemon from tabs. And I'm just going to save it to my desktop as Scizor. Once you've done that, head over to PokeCheats.net/GTS/upload-Pokemon.php. It's a bit of a mouthful, but the link will be in the description. Upload a 5th gen Pokemon. You're going to choose a file. you're going to select the Pokemon, open up the Sizzle, and then you're going to upload it. And then it's going to present you with a screen that says, your Pokemon is now waiting for you on GTS. So what we're going to do, real quick, is put in our Black 2 version. And I suppose one thing I should show you really is, if you're unsure about this, I should probably show you this. I'm actually, do you know what, I'm just going to explain all over again. On your 3DS, you want to go to your system settings. This is probably an important part, because you need to have your internet settings selected and set up in this way to receive the Pokemon through this website specifically. So we're going to go to internet settings, connection settings, we're going to select the connection, change settings, and then we're going to go across one and select DNS. We're then going to select no on auto obtain and go to detailed setup. We're going to choose these settings here. It says this. I'm pretty sure this DNS is the same. Yeah, it's the same for a DSi system and it's the same for a DS. And this works for both Black 2 and Black 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the primary DNS, and in these DNS settings they're slightly different from the other website. So we're going to go 199.119.163.34. And I'm just going to do that for the second one. I'm pretty sure you don't have to enter it for the second one, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm just going to crack that in there real quick. 163.34. Okay, so we got our DNS settings. We're going to correspond there. They're both the same, so that's okay. I'm going to save the connection. I know it's going to work, so I'm not going to bother testing it. Going to go back. Got to go back again. And go back to the main screen. So I can get off the screen now. Once the DSi or the 3DS or whatever system you're using is booted back up, you can head back to Black 2, and I want you to load your game. I'm pretty sure this works for Black 1 as well. Obviously I don't really have the game to test it with, so I can't 100% guarantee that, but I'm pretty sure it will work. So after this is loaded, we're gonna have to do some crazy business right now. Our Scizor is happily waiting for us in the GTS, so I'm not going to launch Seagear. Okay. Now we're here. I want you to come to this lady here. She's up the stairs and on the right. Just come here. Make sure that your box is selected, box 1. And also make sure that you have 6 Pokemon in your party. As you can see, I have six random Pokemon in my party. And make sure box 1 is the current box that you're selected on, so that the Pokemon on the GTS goes to that box. So you first select GTS and then select GTS, select Global Trade, then select GTS again, then hit Trade, and it's going to ask you to save your game. So we're just going to save the game. I swear to God, like, compared to Pokemon X and Y save, this is so slow. Alright, so we saved the game. We're going to follow this chick. She's going to want to take us down here. And we're going to connect to, I'm using my second DS again, so I'm having to overwrite my user data. And then we're going to connect to Wi-Fi. Now, once we connect to Wi-Fi, we should receive our Scizor from the GTS. So, now that our Wi-Fi stuff has been set up, we should connect to the Wi-Fi, and we are in the GTS, as you can see. Just spinning around, and we talk to the computer. We're going to check the GTS's status. Once that has been checked, we should receive our Scizor, as you can see. We've got this cheeky red guy coming down right here. And here's the Scizor. Now that we have Scizor, we can now transfer him to our X or Y version. And you basically do the same thing with the 5th gen template. You just choose a 5th gen Pokemon only. The 4th gen template can be used for Pokemon that are in 4th gen or below. But the 5th gen template is strictly for 5th gen Pokemon only. So now that we've got Scizor, you should come to your box. Just make sure he's in there. Make sure he's in box spot, or in the first box, anywhere in the first box. So we have our Scizor here with Bullet Punch, Bug Bite, Substance, you know. Basically, we just create this awesome guy, and now that that's done, we need to save our game. This method is better if you have, like I mentioned in the previous video, this method is better if you have 2 3DSs, because you can have one with the one with the DNS settings and one without. Because what we need to do now is return to the home menu, and remove the DNS settings, because if we try and connect to Pokemon Bank, Poke Transporter, or X and Y with the current DNS settings, it will not work. So you need to have either two DSs, one with DNS settings, one without, or just have the one DS and have to change the DNS settings every single time you want to use Pokebank. So you just go change settings, go back to your DNS settings, and then go to yes, and then hit save. Do not test because we know it works. Hit back again, and close. Now that that's been done, we can successfully connect to Transporter. So now that this is done, we can go ahead and go to our Transporter once the DS loads up the software, which it has done. So we're going to open that real quick. And once we're in, we're going to push the start button, connect to the internet. Let's sign in right here. Once it's connected, we should be in. Once it communicates to the bank server, this is where your Pokemon is checked with Pokemon Bank to ensure that it is legal, or legit rather. Pokemon sent cannot be returned, blah blah blah, hold items, etc etc. And here is the sizzle. So we can now transfer this box to our bank, and then from there we can transfer it from the bank to our X or Y version. So like I said before, I'm just going to switch the games out here because I need to put my Y version in now. Like I said before, if you want to make a 5th gen Pokemon, then make sure you use the 5th gen template, because they have different settings on them in the Met tab that if they're not correct, your Pokemon will not go through. And the 4th gen template is used to gen Pokemon from 1st gen, 2nd gen, 3rd gen, or 4th gen. And hidden abilities do work. So if you want a Dream World ability on a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or like say if you want a Solar Power Charizard, for example, you can use the 4th gen template to make that Solar Power Charizard with. So like I said, if you use the 5th gen template to make a 1st or 2nd or 3rd Pokemon, it may not work. I'm not saying it 100% won't work, but as you can see, we've been testing a lot here. I've got a few Pokemon, and I have the Sizzle here. So the Sizzle is now here. If I go to the Scissor summary, you can see it's Adamant Technician, Bullet Punch, and it's got all the set. It's basically got the set I said for it to have, and and as you can see in the summary, says seems to have first been met in the Sinnoh region, so that it was transferred from Sinnoh to Black 2 to X and Y. If you in experiences that I've had, if I try to gen a Pokemon from 1st to 4th gen and say that it was bred in Black and White 2, it would just not work. It would just not go through at all. So as I have to stress that, make sure you use the template files correctly. But I'm just going to prove to you that the Pokemon is now in my X and Y version really quick. But I have been trying to figure out this issue for the last 3 or 4 hours now. It's been, or more or less all day, been trying to figure this out, and a lot of people have been commenting, a lot of other YouTubers, because obviously Pokebank was released in the US today, and a lot of other YouTubers and other people have got Pokebank now. So here's the Scissor. I transferred it successfully. So if you follow this tutorial correctly, you will be able to gen Pokemon over. If you're looking for legendary Pokemon, it will be slightly different and it will be slightly harder. You have to kind of go on Pokecheck, which is a website I showed in the last video. If you go to Pokecheck right here, you can look up legendary Pokemon and say let's go for a Zapdos, because a lot of people like Zapdos. So if we looked for a Zapdos and search for a Zapdos, you can find legit ones on this website. If you want this this calm one, this one says it actually comes from Sinnoh, and if you download this and then make your changes, it should go through too. But legendary Pokemon have to be obtained through Pokecheck. Some will work through the 4th gen template. Not all of them will. I'm guessing that kind of like Suicune, the 3 dogs and the 3 legendary birds will probably work through the 4th gen template. I guess it's kind of just testing until you can figure out which ones work and which ones don't. Because as you can see from this one, it says that it was met in Poke Transfer, which is where this one says it's from as well. So if you go to Met, it says Poke Transfer. So this one will work as well. But yeah, I hope this is kind of confusing, and I understand if I've confused some of you. But just do your best to try and understand. It is very confusing, I understand. But if you follow this tutorial, I'm hoping that you'll be able to gen some Pokemon. So yeah, that's about it, I think. So if this video has helped you, then don't forget to leave a rating and a comment and stuff, and don't forget to subscribe. So I'll see you later.